And let's unpack what we saw. That was a bit of, I'd say, a frustrating point of the game. For me, it's really not something that I'm completely freaking out about. It was the pass game. And there were several occasions where we saw Josh Allen, like 7 seconds, scrambling. He's running away from pressure. Nobody was open clearly downfield. Unpacking the all 22, it showed in several scenarios. When Buffalo tried any portion of a downfield game, with Carolina had an answer for it and took away all of his options. For me, so I kind of looked at it, and Josh Allen only had 17 attempts all game, right? He had a couple of bad throws here and there, but I wonder if things would have looked a bit different if, for example, the run game was not as effective as it was. Because a lot of the times I think when you go into these games, when you're dominating on the offensive side of the football, or like you're dominating on the run side of the football, you're probably not dialing up or opening up the playbook in the pass game, because why would you, right? Like, why would you, especially if like you're running at will against this offense? But things are still left to be desired. I still think that we do need to be targeting a wide receiver during the trade deadline. I love Brian Thomas Jr. Since his name has been floating around.
Crazy.
The rightful first-round pick of the Buffalo Bills. We should have got him last year. But hey, maybe the universe can correct itself. Maybe the Olaves of the world. I'm not so much bought in on Shaheed, especially how he played like yesterday. He had an awful game yesterday. But thoughts on this? What did you see from the pass game yesterday, and some potential fixes?
I'm not happy with the pass game. The pass game is still bad. I get listen. I'm all for whatever's working, go with it. The run game was working. I totally get that, but that's not why the passing game was not good. The passing game was not good because there's a few reasons. Look, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think it's Brady not really understanding the receivers and utilizing them well, or getting them in the right scheme. I also think it's the players. They're just not. Maybe they're just not good enough, right? I don't think they're trash, but I saw multiple times where even on scramble drills, which usually a player gets open, they were locked up, and that should never be the case. There should be somebody getting free. So yeah, we're just not getting anything from our new additions either, and more. Obviously, Curtis Samuel has just been a total bust of a signing, total waste of money, but we're stuck with him. It's just one of those things. Khalil Shakir, I really feel like we should be dialing it more for him, and we're really not. Like, I don't understand that. He is our best target out there. Keon Coleman is just, I don't understand. I don't get it. The one thing I will say that he does very well is the slants. And we just don't do it a lot. And I don't understand why.
He's a big slot.
He's a big slot. And the thing is, he because of his size, he shadows the defender. It's such a good play for him, and we just don't go to it a lot. So I don't understand that either. But that's a Brady thing. But honestly, at the end of the day, man, I do think we need to get a receiver in here that defenders they have to respect, that defensive coordinators have to respect. And that can get some separation, meaning early separation and beat man coverage. Once you get that opens up the rest for everybody else, right? That's kind of like what Cooper did last year. Not that Cooper was just, oh my God, Cooper's so great. It was the old Cooper, but Cooper still demanded that respect. He still could beat his man. Josh Allen also needs a guy he could trust, man, right? He doesn't. That's the other thing too. I don't know if Josh Allen has chemistry down with any of these guys except for maybe Shakir and Kincaid and Knox. Outside of that, like, who's his go-to? And I keep asking people that. I love Cook and all that, but there's going to be games where we're going to need the passing game to get going. So 3rd and 9, who you got, folks? Who's the go-to?
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, so for me, like you said with Amari Cooper, like, he was the one that was able to open up this pass attack where more people were able to be open, right?
Yeah.
I think that guy who is on the roster right now is truly Dalton Kincaid. But Dalton Kincaid only had 22% of the snaps yesterday. He had like 17 snaps, I think, in total, like based off of the snap count by itself. So his oblique was probably still bothering him. right? Like he had that one play. As far as your man beater, I think that Dalton Kincaid is your answer. When he's healthy, that's when you see like the week 1 fourth quarter against the Baltimore Ravens. The problem is that he is the key piece that opens up everybody else, and that's Dalton Kincaid. I think that is who Josh Allen really feels like he can run the offense through. Hopefully, he's going to be 100% versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and I see a lot of other opportunities opening up for everybody else. It's going to be Shakir. Thank God that the Buffalo Bills didn't target Keon Coleman until we had a 3-score lead on the team. That was my plan all along, Tommy. I was telling people, I'm like, look, if we get Keon Coleman targets, it better be when the Carolina Panthers are in garbage time. It better be when we have a 2 to 3 score lead right before we start knocking the rust off of this young man or experimenting how to get him a part of this offense. But I think a lot of options still exists right now. And then my favorite is this guy. It's Brian Thomas Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars. From what we understand, per Diana Rossini, it sounds like that Jacksonville is at least open to having conversations about the guy. Now, what he would cost the Bills would be $530,000 against the cap this year and $2.1 million in 2026. He's on his rookie deal. You could still exercise his 5th-year option down the road, but this is bar none the best possible option that we have. Some people might be concerned about his drops. Some people might be concerned that he hears footsteps when he's running crossers up the middle. He's had a weird season. I think a lot of it has to do with Trevor Lawrence's sort of regression in the pass game. He has been very bad as well. Make no mistake about it. But I feel like he's my go-to. I feel like he's send over that 1st-round pick, send over a second maybe, send over Curtis Samuel or Elijah Moore, especially when you see Jackson Hawes has more receptions than Elijah Moore this year, right? Send over a speedster over to Jacksonville, a 1st-round pick, and get this guy in the building because he's the type of guy that is going to open up everybody. And if Dalton Kincaid can't stay consistently healthy, this is going to make sure you avoid sputters in the offense because right now we have one engine in the pass game, and that's Dalton Kincaid, and he's been hurt and for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, you got well on that, and you have to have a perimeter as well. Like, I like Kincaid. I get where you're going with Kincaid, but he hasn't been, relatively healthy throughout his career. And you still need a receiver. You still need a go-to receiver. You can't just rely on Kincaid all the time. So I like Brian Thomas. Obviously, I wish we would have traded up for him that year. I don't know how true this is. I get it. It's coming from a reliable source, but it could just be all noise. Man, they would be getting away from him pretty quick. But yeah, if they are and they are taking phone calls, for sure you got to be in on that. For sure. But matter of fact, Brandon Beane should be on the phone with every team right now to see if they're willing to give up certain players. Like, it doesn't hurt to make a phone call. Some teams are willing just to take anything for certain players. So they just want them off their roster. So I would give up a 1st for sure. I'd probably give up a 1st and another pick, maybe a 3rd for this guy, or a 1st and maybe more. They're not going to take Samuel. I don't think anyone's going to take Samuel at this point because he just hasn't done anything, and the contract is super high for a guy that just constantly hurts. So unfortunately, I think we're just stuck with Samuel. And he's going to probably be a healthy scratch if we wind up getting a receiver in a trade. But yeah, I mean, it's odd too. We signed Connerton and we don't even use him. Like, it's another guy that, like, I just don't understand the signing if you're not going to use him. He's kind of a waste of a roster spot. So that's another guy I just don't. They could potentially cut if they wanted to make room for a receiver, and I don't know, but because it just doesn't make sense. You're gonna he's a waste of a spot. You get what I'm saying? So if you're not going to use him, I mean, my God, they had Keon Coleman returning punts yesterday. So yeah,
they did.
But yeah, he's one of them. Olave is an interesting one. I wouldn't hate that. Even though Saints are saying they're not going to move on from him. Once again,
I don't buy that for a second.
I don't either. Like, smart GMs do that, by the way, so they can get the price tag higher. They can get people bidding in a bidding war. Jerry Jeudy is also interesting to me. He's a good receiver. I wouldn't hate it either. But obviously there's guys that I would take over him. But Yeah, I mean, those are the guys, but I'm sure there's going to be other names floating out there as the deadline creeps up. But I think we need more than just a receiver as well. So very interested to see what they do if there's multiple trades being done. So that's something that we definitely got to be looking out for. And that's November 4th.
Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you what, as far as the DNA of the Buffalo Bills passing attack, one offense that it reminds me of as far as how it's structured is the Indianapolis Colts. Like, maybe you can give a little bit of credit over to Michael Pittman, but in my opinion, I think he's just a possession receiver. Like, yeah, he finds his way into the red zone. Great. But how the Colts offensively are stacked up is very similar to what the Buffalo Bills did last year and are trying to do this year. Solid offensive line, top 3 running back, a quarterback that takes care of the football, and really leveraging your tight ends. For example, Tyler Warren has been having an incredible season. He's by far the best tight end that came out of this draft class. The difference between the Colts and the Buffalo Bills offensive passing attack is that Tyler Warren, this offensive line, and the running back room has been utilized each and every single game and has been relatively healthy. But the problem we run into is that we're missing out on our man beater. Like, he's not staying healthy. So if we can add just one more guy that could be a threat out on the perimeter, I really think that this team just steps into a level of dominance that we grew accustomed to seeing last year.
Yeah, I also, like I said too, I go back to Joe Brady, and if you look at, there's a bad stat of Allen like not throwing past 20 yards, and he's like one of the worst right now. I think Andy Dalton has more, but right,
yeah,
that guys like. I almost feel like they're handcuffing Allen again a little bit, right, and trying him to make him fit in this new offense that they put together. They want him to be to be this balance, which is fine. I don't mind balanced offense, but you can't handcuff Allen at the same time. Like, Allen is a gunslinger. We know it. Listen, this isn't Allen's second, third year. Like, we know what Allen could do. We know Allen can throw it deep. We know Allen can get the ball in there no matter what, right? Tight spaces, it doesn't matter. But we're not really seeing that this year. Now, that could be a combination of just them saying, no, we don't want you to do that. We don't want to take any chances. That could also be Allen going, oh, man, I just don't trust this guy. But boy, we're not throwing deep at all. We're not giving these guys any chance. So once again, I don't know if that's a combination of everything, or is that just McDermott telling Brady as well, going, hey, this is how I want it. We're not taking chances. We're going to throw everything short. But we'll see. If we get an addition like a Brian Thomas Jr. and we're still dinking and dunking, then that's going to tell me that that's a Brady and McDermott thing. They just do not want to they don't want to take chances downfield. So
they just don't.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate because that's not, you're taking away Allen. That's part of Allen's game. Allen is still, he will always have that mentality. And if you take away some of that, that's kind of like, remember when they started taking away his running back when Dorsey's second year, and that was all McDermott. McDermott told Dorsey, I don't want Allen running. And then remember when they fired Dorsey, McDermott came out and said, you know what, I'm just going to have Allen. Yeah, we're just going to go back to letting Allen be free. And and then Allen took off the very next game. Remember that? So it's like, you can't handcuff him, right? I'm not saying let him go out there and throw a million interceptions and just throw deep all the time, but you also can't restrict them, right? So that's how I feel about that. We'll see what happens if we get a new receiver and things change. But, I want to see a little bit, take a shot a little bit, giving our receivers an opportunity as well.
I need to go on ahead and give a giant shout out to our good friends over on Sleeper Picks. Folks, I ended up hitting an absolute home run on my player prop parlay for the Buffalo Bills and the Carolina Panthers game. I had James Cook going well over 86 all-purpose yards. He smashed that. 212 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. I also had James Cook over half of a touchdown. I also had Rico Dowdle under his specific metrics. And the Buffalo Bills had a day, and your boy walked away a winner on the personal sense. Sleeper is the best player prop platform on the market, guys. They are matching 100% of your first deposit all the way up to $100. And just signing up gets you $20, all right, just for using that link in my description. So go on ahead, show a little bit of love, and download Sleeper and send me your parlays moving forward.